You're the connection. No? Well, just make it up. Neither do I.
We know that.
Oh, that's supposed to vibrate.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I told you, man. I don't know what's up with this phone, man. It's on mute.
Isn't there like a...
Yeah, figure it out.
There's like a sound thing on the side.
Yeah, it's called power off.
That's all. Don't you have like a...
Okay, so folks, we're actually going to be going live in about 1 minute.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
I've got about 4 people already watching.
Okay.
4 people watching live already on Facebook.
Nice.
5 people.
Okay. So just refer to it once in a while, and you can pull those questions up.
Mike's on.
Mike's on, yeah.
Mike's on? What?
Red
People are actually hearing this?
Mike's
What?
on.
Camera's on. Holy.
Oh.
Building your audience?
All right.
No kidding. See, there's a little tape delay here.
All right, here we go. We're live at the Corner Bank Sports Bar and Grill on 925 Warden Avenue in Scarborough. The Corner Bank, 14,000 square feet of fun, pro standard playing equipment, great food. Book your party today, 416-757-2265, or go to, 2265, or go to thecornerbank.ca.
Okay.
How you doing? I'm Joe the Swiss Tilley.
Billy the Greek here.
You are watching the Tilley and Billy Show live here from the Corner Bank, and it's a big day today in the NHL because it is hockey deadline day. There have been some big trades so far today, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now, we want to talk about the Leafs, where they're at. They did make a minor deal today. They traded Nick Batiste. They got Nick Batiste from Nashville for Emerson Clark. It's a minor league deal. Basically, Batiste needs to be with the Marlies, who are being decimated. They're shorthanded. They've lost Grunstrom with the trade, Sam Gagner, Mason Marchment, and and Chris Mueller. All those guys are hurt. So there's guys missing from the Marlies lineup. So they're basically stocking the farm right now is all they're doing. Maybe they do something, maybe they don't. My guess is I think they've done their business. I think the big trade was Jake Muzzin, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One of which I believe is, do you really want to mess with your chemistry? Billy?
Over the last week or so since we last came on the air, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and most of it is in regards to you.
You've been doing a lot of thinking.
It's in regards to you, I'll tell you.
All right.
Let me explain. Give me a minute. So
this is kind of rarity. I better mark this day down. You've been doing thinking. Okay.
So, in case you guys don't know, this is this man over here is a legend. He's been covering sports for since he's covered Peter Inachek, Miro. He's covered everything. So obviously,
I covered the the woolly mammoth polo championships.
So I asked myself, I go, wait a minute. This individual here, he's reasonably articulate. You are indeed.
Well,
you got an IQ. I'm guessing it's in the
high.
It's in the 3 digits, guaranteed from what I gather.
Okay.
So then I got to ask myself, you're pushing it. Oh, how old are you now? About 60, 62. So then I start to question your memory. Then I say, wait a minute, man. What's wrong with this guy, man? How does he watch every Leaf game? We watch the same Leaf game on here. He watches one thing and has one opinion, and I watch quite another. So I'll go, wait a minute. Let me see what's going on.
They're watching the same game.
We're watching the same game, but we come out with 2 different results. So then I figured and I understood what it is. You know what? You're blind, man. And you know why you're blind? I'll tell you why you're blind. You're blind because you're in love. You're in love, man. It's like I have my childhood.
Love is blind, right?
Yeah. Like I have my childhood buddy, whatever. He falls in love for the first time, and I'm telling him, I go, hey, pal, your girlfriend's hanging around the football team a little too much, blah, blah, this, that, the other. And he won't listen to me. He can't hear me. He doesn't see what's going on. He's just stuck. He's in love, man. And you, my friend, you're in love. You're in love with a product, and I can't blame you. I can't blame you because I got glimpses of love myself. When I see the offensive talent this club's assembled, I get those little
fluttery feelings.
I get them. Yeah. I get them. But I also, you know what I also get? I also get this little voice that says, you know what? As beautiful as it is to watch, this is not a recipe for a championship club. The back end cannot withstand 16 playoff games. And here's and I came to my conclusion. Simply put, one scene, just one scene. That's when Domi runs over Janssen. ran him over.
Right.
Clean as day,
right,
beautiful
right.
hit, clean hit. Domi's this tall, little bugger, right?
Yeah. He's pretty solid.
He's a solid kid.
Yeah,
He's a solid.
He's a tough kid.
He's a tough kid, but here's the
yeah.
deal. Janssen goes down, and Simpson comes on the telecast afterwards about Craig Simpson about 10 seconds afterwards, and you know what he says? Here's what got to me. This is why you can't win a championship. He says, Cappy went and had a talk with him. Well, now you tell me, Swiss 30 years, what the hell is Cappy going to say to Domi? Tell me what he's going to say. Cappy, the enforcer, had a talk with him. Now, if Cappy's playing that role on your team, and Cappy's all you got to go talk to a guy, you're expecting...
Cappy, let me tell you something about Cappy. I mean, people just assume that Kasperi Kapanen is your typical European style player. He is not. This guy is a tough kid, and it's a guy that I don't think, if I'm Max Domi, he's probably, I really don't want to mess with.
No, absolutely not.
The Kasperi Kapanen can hold his own, trust me. And you know, this team... This is not the 1975 Philadelphia Flyers era, okay? Yeah. This is an era, this is a completely different era. And we're going to, you know, what we have to remember is we got guys, Brendan Shanahan has brought in the smartest guy he knows to run this hockey team, Kyle Dubas, okay? All right? And Dubas has assembled
who's who?
A collection of guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And their job is to analyze, put the best team they can on the ice with some influence from the coach Mike Babcock, with some consideration as to what he wants. This is a team that they've chosen to assemble. They know the window might be small. They know that the salary cap could be an issue as we go down the road, and they want to win now, just like like all the fans want to win now. So if you make that assumption, you've got to assume that these people who are professionals, who are the best in the business of what they do, might have an idea of what it's going to take to win.
Without a doubt.
The Stanley Cup.
They might have.
There's a lot of people I know. There's one guy, my buddy Paul, bless his soul. He loves to say that the Leafs are soft. Okay. In some ways, maybe the Leafs are soft, but they have some guys who can hit, who are grinders, who don't mind the physical game, more so than anybody seems to think. Than a lot of people seem to think. These look. I saw Austin Matthews on Saturday night against the Habs.
You're missing the whole point.
Throwing Shea Weber around.
You're missing.
Shea Weber's not a little.
I got you. Number one, you're missing the point. I'll tell you why. Number one, from all the people that you mentioned, you know who the toughest player. You know who the toughest guy in the Leafs organization is? You want to know who it is? Shanahan still, to this day, and that's not good when he's 60 and he's your GM.
Yeah.
If you have a roster,
and you know what? If this was 2005, when the rules were different,
but it's not
then Shanahan would have been a good guy to have in this
But hold on, Joe. It's not an either-or situation. We're not talking about bringing back the Broad Street Boys. We're not talking of having 5 pugilists. We're not talking about having guys that drop gloves, man. That's not the point.
They could have had Matt Martin, right? They could have. What you need to make sure is you've got some of the speediest forwards in the NHL in this team. Okay, you don't want to have a guy on your line and you get Kapanen and Nylander and Matthews flying into the offensive zone, and the third guy in that line is like 20 paces behind trying to catch up because he's a physical presence in front of the net. You can't have that. This is a team that is all about speed and finesse and putting the puck in the net. And you give them a chance to do that, they're going to do that.
We've almost exhausted this conversation, but we're going to go a step further. Okay. The philosophy that you use and progressive thinkers. Kyle Dubas, first of all, he brought in who did he bring in to be executive on the club? Well, first woman to come onto an NHL club. So he's a forward thinker. He's a progressive thinker. But progressive thinkers, and Dubas at large, sometimes has to understand that in the game of hockey, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, we said this again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but the game has not changed to the point in time where you can win a Stanley Cup without a physical element on your club that demands space, that demands time, that demands respect.
Okay, you've got a physical element on your club because you have Jake Muzzin, who you just brought in.
But
you have Nazem Kadri, who likes to play a rough game. You have Zach Hyman, who gets under people's skin. You have Kasperi Kapanen, who can get under your skin. You got a team that has some, and I tell you, you don't want to go into that Leafs dressing room right now and tell these guys that they have no physical presence and they're not.
You don't have to go to them because they'll tell it if they're honest with themselves, and that's where the doubt comes in. You bring in a player, You bring in a player like Simmons, and I've been calling for Simmons or someone of his ilk.
I like Wayne Simmons.
Here, let me tell you,
and maybe he would be a great addition.
Let me tell you what
the
it does.
The question is, can he keep up with this?
Yeah,
with his mates,
you know what? If he can't keep up, it's irrelevant because what he creates. Here's the deal, Joe. What he creates is an added inch or two to every player on that team plays a little bit taller. You see when Domi came and Janssen flinched. I don't like those little kind of things. Now, when you have a presence on your team, when you have that kind of presence that the Leafs lack, especially on the back end, that's the for me in this puzzle the defensive the defensive six on that team. I don't see them.
I've seen Morgan Riley give guys face wash.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I've seen Jake Muzzin give guys face. There's guys on there.
I'm not talking about face washes, Joe. Yeah. I'm talking about here's the deal. Here's what it comes down to. You got the puck. I want to take it from you. That's it. It's that simple.
Right.
Behind the net. If you turn your back to me,
so you're not taking it from Muzzin.
No,
you're not taking it from Morgan Riley.
Here's the deal. That the Leafs, if you want to consider yourself a championship club, because I'll tell you this, that the Leafs, at this point in time, the only place they're a championship club is on paper. They'd have a hard time with that defense.
Well, you can say that about the other 30 teams in the NHL.
The Leafs couldn't win with that defense the Spangler Cup, let alone the Stanley Cup. They can't. No, I'm telling you, they cannot win with that defense. You cannot expect Hainsey and Zaitsev to log 20 minutes a game. And until they address the back end, and here's the issue, here's why the back end cannot be addressed at this deadline. There's going to be no trades, and I'm going to tell you why. Because moving forward, the Leafs have invested in a core of players, the majority of which are forwards, right? We've got to pay Matthews, Marner, Nylander. That's our core of our team. Our philosophy as a team is not going to change whether or not we add bit pieces. It's going to be where in a salary cap world, where can you save money? Where can you have entry-level players come in and play and augment the roster? You're not going to have it on the front end. So where are you going to have it? You're going to have it in Cali Rosen. You're going to have it in Liljegren. You're going to have it in Bournemouth. And that's where you're going to save money. Next year's defense, the only holdovers from this year, if Dubas had his wares and he can give Zaitsev somewhere, is going to be Dermott, Riley, and Muzzin. The other three are going to be making as much money as me, Brian, and you put together. Maybe? No? Something like that. But they're going to be working on the cheap.
Right.
That's Dubas's plan. So he can't do nothing. He can't do nothing and bring in
It has to be a UFA.
Yeah, it can't.
And the salary's gone at the end of the season. Fine.
That's fine. But again, there's also the sentiment that he doesn't want rentals, which I don't understand. At this point in time, if I'm a Leaf, I'm looking nothing but rentals, right?
Right.
I'm looking for Simmons. Give me Simmons 2 months.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
If they want to augment this roster with anything, and if they feel they don't have what they need, then they have to bring in a UFA, because if anybody with a contract, somebody with the contract has to go.
Yeah.
So they'll have to get either creative with bringing in a contract or get a UFA and make this run and there you go.
Again, so having said that, again.
But also another thing I got to tell you, another thing that I believe is important and a lot of people seem to be missing the aspect of it is team chemistry.
Yeah.
All right. Team chemistry. You brought Jake Muzzin in a month ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Now he's got a chance to integrate into this lineup. He's got a chance to be part of this lineup, and they grow. A team grows as a group.
Yeah, all right. Where does it grow as a group?
Will tell you that.
Where does it grow as a group? It grows two ways.
Right. Okay.
Where?
But don't you think this group is growing a little bit physically? Since
Where does it?
Was added
Yeah, absolutely. And
there you go.
Again, you've made my point. If it grows this much,
but maybe it's grown enough.
I'm telling you, it hasn't.
Okay.
And any.
But you know what? The only way to. Okay. I agree. You could be right, but the only way I think is to wrap up this conversation is to say we're going to find out.
Yeah.
If they decide to make a trade over the next couple hours, right? Then they make a trade over the next couple hours, and they make the change they have to make. If they don't, they've decided they're good. And the only way to find out if they're right or wrong is to let time play out. let this play.
But hold on. Put that down a second. I'm still talking. Do you have at your tender age? You have another year to wait, man. You've been waiting in the weeds since '67, man.
Yeah.
You have another year to wait.
I can
You can handle another. Let's see. Yeah, you might be able to handle another one because you know what? It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year. It's not going to be this year without addressing the issues that I've spoken of. It's not going to be this year. It can't be this year. It's impossible to be this year. And if
it's not impossible.
It's not impossible?
Opinion, okay? Because what you're saying is you know better than Kyle Dubas, Brendan Shanahan at all. And maybe
do I or not? I don't know.
Maybe you don't, but you can't say that it's impossible. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Homeland Mortgage. Homeland Mortgage offers fast first and second mortgage loans for any purpose, whether you need to pay bills, renovate, need a mortgage to purchase a home. For the best service, call Michael Lalonde at 416-913-9593 or visit homelandmortgage.org. There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, I want to talk a little bit more about the trades that have happened. Okay, so we you know what? So far, okay, we know what the Leafs have done, which is Muzzin. Okay, the Bruins, they've acquired Charlie Coyle. You know, he's a big guy, 6'3", 220-pound center. I mean, might be helpful down the road. They also signed Lee Stempniak. That one I
right. Well, maybe it's
okay. So there's that doesn't scare me. All right, the Habs. Well, they're expected to be quiet. They haven't done anything as of now. Lightning, they're running away with the President's Trophy. I don't know if they want to do anything. They really haven't. The team that has done the most are the Blue Jackets.
Yes. Yeah.
The Blue Jackets, which are in the same division as the Leafs, and unless the Leafs were to end up in a wild card position,
spot or in the conference finals,
because then they would do the crossover thing and play teams from the Metropolitan Division. But I don't see that.
You know what the thing is, Joe, with Columbus, that people don't factor in. Columbus, if they have four playoff home dates, that's about $5 million in the owner's kitty. Like, as the Leaf organization doesn't value dollar for dollar, but you better believe that Columbus, if they've got 70 points, that owner wants 4 home games at least, right? And so,
but they also feel. I mean, I guess Tortorella. Tortorella is the type of coach that. I don't think he's thinking long term.
No,
ever.
Now.
Okay,
no matter
what team he's with now. Tortorella's a guy. He's more like a hired gun. You come in, build the franchise up, try to get a Stanley Cup. Now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so he's thinking now,
and I guess his GM's on board too, right?
Obviously on board for that because they pick up Matt Duchene, Ryan Dzingel. Today they got Keith Kincaid. Yeah. Now the other possibility I heard earlier is that they were thinking of maybe even dealing Bobrovsky because knowing that he wasn't going to be around next year. I don't think so.
No,
I think that they're just they want insurance in case Bobrovsky gets hurt.
Yeah,
and that's why they're bringing Kincaid. Yeah. But this is a team that's. Definitely, you want to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. Even at the expense of losing Panarin for nothing, right? They decided that this is the year they're going to go for it. So Panarin, in essence, becomes their own hired gun at the deadline. And then it's a funny thing too. Winning cultivates a sense of culture and a sense of loyalty that a guy like Panarin might otherwise not have. Like, you ask the guy if they make a Stanley Cup run and the community gets involved, he might look at Columbus a little bit differently than he does right now. You never know. Winning is never a bad thing for a free agent.
A similar kind of thing we're hoping might happen when with Kawhi Leonard.
Absolutely.
It's the same kind of thing.
You don't know.
You build this. You build this, loyalty to the team.
Yeah.
The team builds it
if
back.
Money's equal, if money's on par, right?
Sure. If money's on par, and take a little bit less to stay with the winning organization.
Yeah.
When you're parading in the middle of June down the streets of your city with
your family,
with your family.
That's right.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it tends to sway people one way or the other.
And you never know it until you experience that. You can't imagine what that feeling's like. Like even if this guy's thinking about going to New York or going somewhere else, his heart might change within the process. And again, I applaud Columbus for the moves they made, and I'd look for them to kind of even. Past the Islanders, I look for them to probably win that division with the moves they made.
Okay. We got a question here?
Yeah, well, better be a good one, whoever's out there. We don't waste it. Well, that's Joe Tilley. Hey, don't waste his time with any terrible questions. Come on, Joe, what do you got there,
the Canadians have acquired Wheel from the Coyotes.
Wheel? Who the hell is Wheel?
Oh, Wheel's...
You the third wheel? The broken wheel? The wheel in the spoke? Who is this guy? Yeah. You know who the wheel is? I don't know, but no kidding. Yeah, eh?
And Maloney's significant move fell through the Flames.
No kidding. What do you see out in Calgary?
Okay,
See,
wait, here, we got a couple of
right.
comments here. It says Jake has not proven he's worth a first rounder. At least got manhandled against the Habs and Blues.
Yeah.
Kreider and or McQuaid from New York Rangers would look for Zaitsev and Brown plus picks. Do you think the Rangers are making that deal?
Yeah, if we don't like Zaitsev, you think the Rangers are ready to swallow up 5 years of him?
Sean says, hey, brother, at least they're going to pull the trigger. With the call-up of Moore, expect a move, but with Dubas, who knows? Yeah, I like Moore.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
He should be here. I mean, that fourth line could be enhanced a little bit.
Yeah, you don't like old Par Lindholm there with what he brings to the table. Like, he's a magician, man. He can spend 7 minutes on the ice and you don't see him, man, once, eh? That's not easy to do, eh?
Yeah.
To be like invisible and get paid $1 million, man. That's a good gig, eh? Par, keep up the good work, pal.
Well,
no
another
kidding.
thing I want to say here is that one team that we haven't really talked about, because they're in the other division, but they are loaded for bear as well. The Winnipeg Jets acquiring Kevin Hayes today. You know, that's a scary team in the West. It's a team I wouldn't want to face.
Yeah, you don't want to face that team. But again, the question in Winnipeg's Hellebuck in that. Can he stand the rigors? Can he steal a couple of games? He's still a question mark, much like Smith in Calgary. The same thing. The only things that are holding back either Calgary or Winnipeg is the questions between the pipes, right? Other than that, if you look at both rosters are on par or better than Nashville, and whoever else is. San Jose looks dangerous too, mind you. But again, Winnipeg and Calgary this year, and with a shot again.
I love the Flames.
When's the last time the Cup came to Canada? When's the
team.
last time?
You know what? It would be fantastic to see the Flames or Jets playing the Leafs in the Stanley Cup.
Well, wouldn't that be? When's the last time a Canadian team won a Cup? Swiss?
92, 93.
90.
The Habs. No, the Habs.
90. Are you sure the Habs won? The Habs didn't win in
93.
The Habs won in 93?
Yes, they won.
Really?
In 93. Yeah.
How old were you then? Remember?
I was 16.
Yeah, 93. That's why you remember, eh? You snake. Yeah, eh? It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah. You know what? It's been a long time for the Leafs, and of course we had the Harold Ballard years, which was very forgettable. A lot of fun things happened during the Harold.
Remember the bunker?
But nothing
good. Remember the little bunker?
Yeah,
you ever been in the bunker?
You
ever been in?
I interviewed the King Clancy.
In the bunker?
In the bunker.
No kidding, eh? Yeah.
It was a fun thing, but when the Leafs won their last Stanley Cup in 1960. Oh well.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna have this conversation in the next life. What else we got there?
Sean saying that Stone ended up in Calgary.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. Who's it? Sean what? Shauner.
Sean Hussey, Joe Tilley does stuff. No, does Stone end up in Calgary?
Shauner, man.
Sorry. Okay, yeah.
Stone end up in Calgary?
Well, you know what? I don't know. It's a funny thing. The way the Flames are playing, the way things are going there, and we talked earlier about chemistry. What do you get? It all depends on what you're giving up. All right. Yeah, if you could just drop Stone onto the Flames roster, yeah, do it. But the Sens are going to want something.
Hold on, a little shout out to Mark Reynolds. Who's he talking to? Mark saying your buddy is most annoying. Can't watch or listen. Sorry, I apologize. This guy talks. I'll try to have a talk with him. Sometimes he goes.
Don't give this guy credit.
He goes.
Don't say his name. He's
a good dude. Look at the face. Yeah. Okay. So apologize for Joe. He speaks a lot, and sometimes he gets a little obnoxious. I'll try to keep him in line, Marky. Keep watching, buddy. Hey, Joe. All right. What else we got?
Okay. Well, that was. I think we're.
Were you like Stone?
Unless. By the way, Brian Glasgow, our producer, best producer in the business of television, radio, or whatever we are, internet.
He's up there.
He's the man.
He's up there.
At this point, I want to say it's time to introduce a new segment brought to you by Aldo at Remax Crossroads. Call 416-GET-ALDO. And now Aldo Aldo and his team have a tremendous real estate background.
Yeah.
They go back a long, long way. Aldo's been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
Does a lot of good things for a lot of great people.
Yeah. Good in the back end too, eh?
Yeah, he's good. Aldo's an awesome guy. All right.
Yeah.
And so go see Aldo's team as soon as you can when you want to make your next move. I wanted to talk a little bit. I wanted to shift gears a little bit. Talk about tennis. Okay, Canadian tennis.
Okay.
Felix Auger-Aliassime, the kid from Montreal, 18 years old. I'm not going to ask you to say it, Billy. 18-year-old kid from Montreal. Unbelievable, this kid. He's just he's rocketed from 104th in the rankings to number 59 in the ATP rankings. Went all the way to the ATP 500 tournament in Rio, the Rio Classic, Rio Open. He is the youngest player to ever reach the finals of an ATP 500 event. All right, made it all the way to the final. Beat some good players on the way to get there. You look at the Canadian tennis, which has just gone boom in the last 5-6 years. You know, you got Milos Raonic, who lost, by the way, today at the event in Dubai.
Oh, yeah.
But you got Denis Shapovalov, you got Felix Auger-Aliassime.
What's the young lady that we speak of?
Bianca Andreescu. And Jeannie Bouchard, if she ever gets her act together again. I mean, the kid has talent. It's just her problem, I think, you know, between her ears. She's got to get, you know, get motivation back, whatever it is she needs to get back, because, you know, the kid has talent. You know, she's but, you know, I don't know what's happened to Canadian tennis, but it's gone boom. Canadian golf scene is looking pretty good now. And,
what do you attribute it to?
A lot of good Canadian fighters getting back to one of my favorite sports, boxing. What do I attribute it to? Well, it's cold in Canada. It's been a lot of time in the gym training. Okay, there you go.
No kidding. No kidding. I'm looking outside, and frankly, tennis is the last thing on my mind, right? So again, it's a golden age for
tennis and golf.
Right?
I mean, two generally outdoor sports the Canadians are excelling at right now.
Absolutely, right. And
Ben Silverman, Corey Connors, Nick Taylor, David Hearn.
So what you're saying? So what you're saying in essence is the sporting world is bigger than the Leafs. And the NHL
the sporting
and the Raps,
world is bigger than at least we you know. I wanted to give a shout out to Felix Auger-Aliassime, because when Canadians
say the name
do
again one more time, Bing. Come on.
Felix Auger-Aliassime.
Holy shit!
The 18-year-old kid from Montreal.
Good job, kid.
Big things happening from this kid. Big things happening from him and Shapovalov. I mean,
I like that kid. I like that kid. Yeah, I do.
There's and Milos. I mean, if he stays healthy, I mean, there's a Davis Cup team that's
You ever heard of Milos? You ever heard Milos do an interview or go behind the mic?
Yeah.
I've interviewed Milos. Yeah, he's a smart guy, man.
Yeah. He's also a tall guy.
Yeah.
So
not only tennis wise, but if you talk to him about basketball, you talk to him about any sport.
Oh, he's a big basketball fan.
You know, he's got
big Raptors fan.
Common sense in most everything he says, unlike maybe us, but yeah, he's a really sharp guy. And look for him to
uncommon sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay,
he's
Brian,
a
you got
smart
something
guy.
there for us? Okay. Sean wants to know what D would you like to see the Leafs go after, and which gritty forward, and at what cost?
Yeah, man, Sean, if you're asking me, buddy, I've said it. And by the way, if you can watch us live on YouTube. Where else?
YouTube,
and we're on Facebook right now.
Right.
But if you ever get bored during the week, you got nothing to do, instead of watching CNN, Fox News, whatever you do at 9, 10 at night, maybe you want to get away from the wife, the boyfriend, whatever, go to YouTube and click any of the 10 episodes we've done. They're still available on YouTube. And you'll understand from episode 1 to 2, I've been calling...
And
Facebook, wherever you want to go. I've been calling for a guy... out of Philadelphia that I think is perfect for the Leafs, and that's Radko Gudas.
Scarborough. Oh, well, Philly.
I like Simmons and Gudas, and the reason and the reason why, like, you know, ideally I like Cronwall too, but he ain't leaving Detroit. You know what I need?
Oh, D-man, right?
I need a guy number one that's mean. I need a guy that when the opposing forward goes into a corner, he doesn't go with impunity. He goes with a sense of fearness. And now, if you got a guy like that doesn't have to lay a glove on you, really. He doesn't have to.
As good as the UFA.
Yeah, he's got one more year coming up. He's got one more year at $3 million.
So now you got to mix and match a little bit.
Yeah, you got to mix and match a little bit, but they can handle that. He's prorated
for one thing, Philly wants more for a guy who's not a UFA.
Yeah, prorated his salary.
So what do you give up for Radko Gudas?
I'd start with American-born Jeremy Bracco. Bracco's never going to see the top 6 of a Leaf roster. More than likely, I give up Bracco, and I'd maybe give up a third, something along those lines for a year and a half of Dudas. And let me explain, it's not Dudas. If you find another player, like for example McQuaid out of the Rangers, I need a guy like that creates a little element of fear in the opposition, that buys a little time, a little space, and has a little presence for brief moments in the game where that element is required. Right. I need that element required.
One thing you definitely don't want to do is you don't want to bring in a guy who's going to go after people and get penalties, okay?
Yeah, you know what?
Just
but hold on, Joe. Here's the deal. Here's what you miss in penalties. Here's what you miss. Number one. First of all, the Leaf penalty killing is atrocious, number one. And that's, from my eyes, that's as a direct result of Zaitsev and Hainsey can't clear.
Well, it's not atrocious. It's
I don't care where it sits. My eyes tells me it's atrocious. Yeah. Anyways, point of the matter being that if you create a special teams game, like for example, you know why the Leafs came back against the Habs? Why did they come back? power play. And you know why there was penalties drawn? If you create a game where there's penalties, for example, Montreal had the first 4 power plays. How long you been watching hockey? When Montreal draws 4 in a row, Leafs are getting the next 3. It's been that way.
Yeah,
it's been that way.
It's
been that way forever.
Yeah.
So if you create a special team game, right? Even if you go and take a liberty at somebody and create a special team game, that favors the Leafs. The more power play opportunities this club can have with those 5 guys on the ice is better. So I don't want a game where there's no penalties. I don't want a clean game. I want a dirty game. I want not a dirty game, but I want a physical game where both teams get 5 opportunities per game on the power play. And if that's the case, man, I'll take the Leaf 5 over any 5 in the league, 5 on 4.
Right.
That's it. Because
But
at that
I just want to say something. I just hope that the referees aren't agreeing with you, okay?
that's how we. Whether
Because
they
penalties are penalties, and you know, if you have to take 7 in a row, you have to take 7 in a row. Okay?
You know what?
I went to the Generals game last night, and the Saginaw Spirit took 4 penalties in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because they made 4 infractions in a row.
Fair enough, but the Zebras, especially if you watch NHL anytime in the last 30 years, they got a way of evening it up. Once a team gets 2, 3, 4 power plays, the minute you put your stick under a guy's nuts or whatever excuse, right, you're getting 2 minutes no matter what. Just like the penalty that brought the game to 3-2, where a guy got tripped in front, man. That's not a penalty. The guy calls the whistle. You saw Julian, he lost his mind, man. That puts you back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if they called absolutely every infraction,
right?
It'd be a non-stop revolving door in and out of the...
right?
Okay, so anyway, you had another comment.
I don't know. What do we got here?
Okay, love the show. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Oh, love the show.
Leafs going forward with 6'5" Gauthier, softer than a Dairy Queen ice cream.
No kidding.
Him and Lindholm are taking up precious ice time. Only decent guys Ennis. Leafs need to fix it. Well, like as we talked about, bringing more up to that line, might be which
reminds me, thought that I had, I don't know, about 20 minutes ago, and it escaped, much like many other of my better thoughts, is I love Ennis. I love the compete level of Ennis. I love the way he plays. And frankly, Ennis at 5'7", well, how old, Tom? 5'8", little guy, plays with more.
A spark plug, though,
you know what he should do? He should lend his tenacity and his heart, and you should lend it to Gauthier. At 6'5", the guy could possibly be the softest 6'5", 230-pound guy in the history of hockey. You'd be hard pressed to find a softer guy. That guy's like a flower. The guy's absolute.
I wouldn't be that hard on poor Freddie.
No, it's not poor. He is who he is, man.
Yeah.
But in terms of his 6 minutes on the ice, he's as
You know, I mean, he's not the most offensively.
He's absolutely
he's not the most
worthless, man. He's
offensively
worthless.
gifted guy on the
He's
ice.
worthless.
So if I'm Freddie Gauthier, and
You want
I've
Trevor
got that
Moore?
natural size, maybe I'm playing a little more physical game because maybe,
or else you know what you're going to be doing.
Well,
you're going to be playing in the ECHL in 3 years.
There might be somebody on the Marlies right now who could come up and maybe make that line a little bit better.
Yeah,
or maybe there's an acquisition that they can get to make that line a little bit better. But yeah, that if there's any Achilles heel that I see right now that at least might be that fourth line.
Might be the fourth line, and again without going back too far back.
And your point about Goodis, I don't mind that at all, because if you bring a guy in the back end, I think it's less of a chemistry issue.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're not bringing a guy who's not taking penalties, I think that's a pretty good thing. How are we looking for time?
We got to run at 33 minutes.
Okay, so we're running out of time. Before we go, I wanted to give our buddy Mike at Wealth Realize a shout out. Visit Mike Hopkins at wealthrealize.ca. Wealth Realize Financial Services for anything you need financially. Say hi to Mike. But we want to talk about.
Hold on. We got something from Sean Chappelle. Moore was just called up. So something.
Moore was just called up. There you go.
Was just called up.
There you go.
Right.
We're talking about that. Yeah. Good.
All right. We do know what we're talking about.
I appreciate that.
Hey? See, how does that work?
Once in a while, eh? You know what it is? It's Kyle Dubas is watching the show right now, and he said, "Oh, they said call up more," and so he got that's what they did.
I don't know.
I'm glad you're listening, Kyle. Pay attention, and we'll win the Stanley Cup for you. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the Raptors. The Raptors. It was an interesting week. Friday night, DeMar DeRozan and the San Antonio Spurs come to town, and Kawhi Leonard with that unbelievable steal and slam in the last seconds of the game to seal the deal for the home side. That was a lot of fun. What a great game! And you know what? the crowd did what we hoped they would do.
Yep.
And the Raptors, showing the love for Double D, for the time that he.
Explain to me, how could they not? There's absolutely not
well,
one.
I
right?
mean, if you want to be, if you want to play the tit for tat game, look at the way they treated Kawhi Leonard when his return.
Yeah,
to
Kawhi
San
Leonard
Antonio.
wanted to leave San Antonio,
Different
right?
circumstances, yes, but I mean, if they wanted to play that game, we could. I thought it was classy job by the fans, classy job by the organization. It was appropriate, yeah, but it was classy, and they did the right thing. That was my point.
Yeah.
And the Raps did the right thing by winning that game.
Yeah.
And of course, then they turn around and lose to Orlando a couple nights later. But I understand that. Okay, Kawhi Leonard's not in the lineup. This is a game they're playing right after they played probably their biggest game of the season. Yeah, emotionally, the team is you're sky high, and then you're trying to get up for the Orlando Magic.
But hold on,
but Orlando Magic is not a bad team.
Orlando Magic's not only a bad team, but stylistically they match up well with the Raptors. Yeah. They beat the Raptors in Orlando by 30 with Kawhi play.
Right.
Sometimes Orlando was shooting the ball with efficiency. Vujicic inside was dominant, and Raptors didn't come to play. And in an 82-game schedule on a Sunday at 3:30 in mid-February, sometimes that happens, right?
Right.
What are you going to do? That's not indicative of anything more than...
I know one thing I want to say. My buddy John, he'll comment on this frequently, about how he doesn't think the Raptors should be sitting Kawhi Leonard. And he thinks that he looks at guys like Stevie Eisenman and guys who play all the time. They played, no matter what the situation, they played through injury. It's two things are important here to remember. One, the Raptors want a healthy Kawhi Leonard come playoff time. It doesn't matter, game 62 or whatever it is in the schedule now. They want Kawhi Leonard to be there for games 83, 84, 85, 86, 87. They want him to be as healthy as possible. They want him to be happy. They want him to know that the organization puts his health above, winning game 64 of regular season. So that's important too. If you want to re-sign this guy,
they've bent over backwards.
Yeah, they've bent over backwards, and that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I would, if I were looking to give that kind of treatment, I'd also consider doing that for Lowry. I think it's important to keep Lowry healthy as the season goes on. I think without Lowry in a better physical condition, you'd have a tough time getting out of the East. If he's not playing he's not playing at an upper level.
Yeah.
I think you'd have trouble.
Okay, one more trade to talk about here. Yeah. Last second deal here that we're going to talk about. Carolina Hurricanes have acquired Thomas Yurko and Cliff Poo from the Florida Panthers. So they're
Cliff who?
Cliff Poo.
How you spell that?
P-U.
P-U?
Cliff Poo. I think he's former Kingston Frontenac, if I'm not mistaken. I saw him playing the OHL.
P-U?
Yeah.
How do you spell P-U?
P-U.
Okay.
He's a good young player. Yeah, maybe he played for the Knights too. Cliff Poo.
Who?
Might have played for the Knights too. Anyway, Thomas Yurko, Cliff Poo. I mean, it's a little bit of move, I guess. The Hurricanes.
So you're saying no poo to the Leafs?
No poo to the Leafs.
No, eh? Okay, that's it.
They're in enough poo already, and so are we. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week's show.
Yeah.
I'm Joe the Swiss Tilley.
Billy the Greek, friends.
So we're here at the Corner Bank. Come on down, check us out live every Monday. We have one Saturday night show a month that we're going to do here from the Corner Bank, but the rest of the time we're here on Monday afternoon. Love to come. Like Peter's here today, and Cheryl.
Lovely Shirley.
Yeah, come down to see us. Come down anytime and check us out live, or catch us live on YouTube or Facebook. And we'll see you next week.